Neil, Ellice. Welcome, welcome.
Hello. Vope. I was thinking about doing that all morning. It's so nice to see so many of you that I saw at the table. So many faces. I just wanted to say, like, genuinely touched by how many of you guys showed up. Like, seriously. Like, it's awesome. And there's people here that knew each other online, and then were in a chat group, and then they met here. There's people that didn't know, that knew each other online, and then didn't realize that each other were coming. And then they hung out together, and they had a really good time. So I think that's amazing.
It is amazing. It's one of the things as I mentioned, I talk about in my class is that the community building that video games brings, I think is very, very strong, and something that in an entertainment aspect that you don't see in, people aren't going, hey, I'm going to go see this movie. Let's all get together. But video gaming is very different.
Yeah, absolutely. Whether it's in this case, the Warzone multiplayer, right. The online part of the community, it's clear, like, it's just been right in my face this weekend, like people have made friends, and it's amazing.
Is this your first time in this part of the country?
I've been to Raleigh once before. It is my first convention.
First convention?
Yes.
And how are you loving the convention life so far?
It's really cool. It was there's a secret tunnel to get here. I don't know if you guys knew that. So it feels like it's either like Mission Impossible or you're like Taylor Swift or something. I don't know. It was. We went through the tunnel and I was like, oh no, this feels like I am James Bond or Taylor Swift or something. And you come up onto the floor and through the door and like there it is. And I've been to conventions before as a fan. Some of the smaller ones, some big ones, right. But not actually, here as to meet people, and it's been like, wow, like I'm super touched by it. Yeah.
As a fan, what are some of your fandoms? Like, who are people that you were interested in meeting? Like, what are your likes? Are you into video games? Are you into Marvel, like Loki? What are you into?
Oh yeah, no, actually, all of it. I mean, all of it. I love universes. I love fantasy, sci-fi. Also love comedy as well. But you tend to find that universes are more, on the sci-fi side. I haven't been such a big gamer in the past, honestly, because earlier on, it's interesting. Like I would tend to lose entire weekends.
I think we can
maybe
all
I just have an
relate,
addictive personality. But like I just don't know where that weekend went. And now there's an audition due, and I rush it. So I hadn't been such a huge gamer. Like I did a stream. I'm sure probably it was entertaining for many of you. But I'm sat there in my room, and I trained for a bit. I thought, okay, this is Warzone. Right. I thought, okay, I will get as good as I possibly can at this, and I really tried. But I was playing with Marley 13. He's from Glasgow, and some other. I think those players were all from Scotland. And I got absolutely mashed. And I realized very quickly, a little bit like when I was at school, is that I better learn to be, if I'm not going to be able to put up a good fight, I better learn to be very funny if I'm going to survive this. But yeah, I mean, big worlds. All of them, just Marvel, Star Wars, love all of that. And then luckily I got to play a small role in one of the Marvel TV shows.
Yeah, I would love to talk about that. Your role in Loki. By the way, Loki, amazing, right?
Yeah.
Did you?
Fantastic.
You ended up having a great recurring role, very important to the story. Did you realize that was the case when you auditioned? Did you think, okay, D90's he's just going to be there? It's going to be a one-time thing?
No, I had no idea what the role was when you audition. Actually, similar to Call of Duty, right? It tends to be, I think, in these large franchises that confidentiality is a big deal.
Especially Disney, Marvel, yes.
Yeah, so the way it comes down is there's a thing called breakdowns, right? Certainly, if anyone wants to find out about voice acting or how to get into it, like, please ask away. There's a thing called breakdowns where auditions come out. And they'll have a description of the character, some generic information about what the show is, maybe where it's where it's going to be distributed, and a log line and what are called sides, which are normally between 1 and 6 pages of script. And yeah, for both Loki and Call of Duty, it was just like super generic, like scenes that had nothing to do. It was like an acting test almost, and each side is different. Each one is like, there's one where it clearly calls for you to see a more aggressive side, and then maybe a more humorous side, maybe more thoughtful side. And so that's really what they're looking for. And then if you're lucky enough to get a call back and be in the room or on Zoom, then the casting will start to work with you like a director, and we'll say, hey, this is what we're looking for. But yeah, you never find out until the very end, where they're like, it's this role for this project.
That's great. Is it, so,
I mean, at my level, at least,
right.
at my level.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, but when you did get when you finally were cast, again, did you think that this was a one and done, one episode and then I'm done, or did they tell you this, you're going to be a prominent part of this story?
Yeah, well, I knew it was a recurring role.
Okay.
That's what it's called. That level of role is a recurring role, and I knew that once they say, hey, we'd love like you to do it, they say it's going to be for. Actually, do they say it's going to be for me? Did they say it was going to be for this many episodes? I'm not sure. I think it was we knew it was going to be at least 4. Right. And then these are the dates that we need you, and you just need to be here, and, right. Then you go along with the flow. And then actually, 2 weeks into it, COVID hit, and it all got shut down for 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah, big deal. Yeah.
And then going back to work during COVID must have been quite the transition, too.
Well, first of all, I got so fortunate that that I had booked a show that was brought back, because there were shows that weren't.
Right.
Yeah. I had friends that had booked roles that had done 2 weeks on a show, and then that was it. It made it too difficult for them to continue to finish the project. So yeah, when you go back, there are still protocols now, but yeah, it was the stage door had to be opened every 15 minutes. There were distance protocols. Everybody was divided into groups, just to, everyone was wearing masks. And then when you roll, the actors take the masks off, but everybody else is still wearing masks. All the protocols to make sure that you could continue to film, because once a production gets up and going, there's a big cost per day, so you want to make sure that everybody stays healthy. Yeah.
Yeah, that whole aspect of production during COVID, and not that we're out of it, but during 2020 is very interesting to me. That how they kept things going and the protocols that they did. But of course, a big a production like Loki. Now let me ask you: do you when you work on shows like this, do you get starstruck at all when you're working on?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'd never been on a show like that before. I'd done some small things, wrote my own sketches, filmed my own sketches with friends, and I'd just been like I am now, just auditioning. You're audition for everything, yeah, I mentioned to 1 or 2 people at the table. I remember on the very first day for Loki season 1, I was like, oh wow, we're filming at Pinewood, which was the name of a studio now called Trilith in Atlanta. Pinewood, I don't know if you know, but is a huge film and TV complex in the UK. It's very, very famous. And so I was like, oh wow, Pinewood, okay. So I'm in a van, we're driving through, and it's the real deal. I mean, it's like, being on the Universal Studios tour. There's just sound stages, and I had no idea what else was being filmed there. But it turned out that at that time, I believe one of the Spider-Mans was being filmed. And I remember being in the van just going, okay, keep it together. And there we drove by a stage, and the stage door was open. It's like an aircraft hangar. There was this 30-foot wall that had been built, and out of the middle of it was sticking a New York yellow taxi cab. And I think I must have just kind of gone like that and grabbed my phone, and the guy was like, you can't take any pictures. I was like, sorry, be professional. And yeah, and then meeting, being so fortunate to get to meet with so many talented and really nice people, like professionals who really treated it like a theater company. And I was very nervous, and one of them, I think, could tell on day one. And he sat down next to me, and I'm like, oh my God. And he put his arm on my shoulder and said, hey, how you doing? I said, oh, good, thank you for asking. Like, no eye contact. And he's like, did you get much sleep last night? I said, no. And he went like this, doing on my shoulder. Welcome to the Day One Club. That person had been the same on their day one, you know, and it was just like, setting the tone for you know, and I had a recurring role, but you know, really was a small role, and so for the biggest people on the show to be so kind to someone that has a small role and is, you know, clearly new, just sets the tone, and you try to pay it forward. So yeah, it was amazing.
I absolutely love that story. Can we backtrack a little bit about when you realized that acting in the entertainment world was your goal, or was your passion, your drive?
Yeah, I used to love to make voices. I don't know how many people here kind of just, even under your breath, you know, but when I was a kid, right, I was just constantly mimicking people, you know, and you know, when you're a child, you don't really have much of a self-edit button, you know. But we, you know, I would watch a lot of cartoons and TV and films, and especially cartoons, and would just love to copy the voices. And I you know, was kind of a theater kid growing up, and I would I had a recorder, and I would record voices, and I would sell them at school for 50p. I would do voices for people and ask them, "What do you want? I'll do 5 voices for you," and I would give them the recording.
You were like an early cameo.
Yes. Oh, I hadn't thought of that actually. Yeah. So I think then and then it moves on. You know, I did a group called Dramarama, with an amazing drama teacher called Sylvia Robinson. Bless her heart. And then I moved to you know, children's theater and you know, youth theater and so on and so forth, and you just kind of build it from there, you know. And I've had all sorts of different you know, gigs, and then started to put together my own reels and make my own stuff, and you know, try and get myself out there.
Right, that's awesome. We have a line here of folks. Would you like to answer some of our audience
Absolutely,
questions?
yes. Hello.
Hello, you've been standing there a long time. I love it. What is your name?
Hi, my name is Maddie.
Hi, Maddie.
My question for you is, excuse my language, when was your oh shit moment when you realized you were in the games?
Oh, I remember. I remember I got a phone call, and because we had the process was that there was a callback, and it was a live callback on Zoom because there was COVID at the time, and I thought it'd gone well. It seemed to be happy enough, but really sometimes you never know. But I got a call, and my manager at the time said, "Oh, you've booked this. You booked this video game. We knew it was a video game." And I said, "Okay, great." And he said, "Yeah, it's." I said, "What's the character? What's the game?" And he said, "Well, you know, it's Call of Duty." I said, "Well, no Call of Duty. It's Modern Warfare 2, and it's Soap MacTavish." And I thought, "Oh shit!" Like, better get this right. And then, yeah, it was like, please put me in touch with all the people I met on the audition as quickly as possible, especially Brian. And you know, Brian very kindly gave me the lay of the land. This was the character bio. This is what we're looking for. This is the dynamic that we want. We want you to bring as much of yourself to it as you can. And then that really put me at ease to do that and to try and make the character my own. So that's a great question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Jacob.
Hi, Jacob.
When you were told that you got the role of Soap, what kind of studying did you have to do to like really embrace his role?
Yeah. So Brian had written a biography of the character, from his perspective, as obviously incorporating as much of the lore from his perspective, in the sense of how it was going to fit into Modern Warfare 2019 and move forward. I knew that, so I read that. I talked to him a lot. He was an amazing guiding hand during the production, and I knew from my own research that there was the journal, which, by the way, a few people brought up. Some people had even remade it, So this is a journal that Soap had kept. It was part of a booklet that came with some of the original games. So I read those to get a sense of his personality and get really the essentials. And then, then you've got to step up and you prepare and you learn the lines and let's do it, Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Of course.
Hi, I'm Anais. I was just wondering, when you did the role for Soap and then also Loki, would you say that opened up a lot more opportunities for you?
Yeah, I think that when you're fortunate to be in something that people actually see, and not just see but enjoy, and then maybe kind of bring something to their life, that's an incredible thing for an actor, especially a voice actor. Up until that point, I'd done some small gigs. I'd done, which I hope many of you will do if you're aspiring to this, is go and make your own stuff. Go and write a comedy sketch, go and write a voice reel, and go and make it and edit it yourself. So that's really what I've been doing up until that point. And you can put it onto online and so forth, and hopefully people will like it, or you keep it for yourself. But when you're working for in a property that people know and love, and with amazing professionals, it's like a boot camp. It really will hopefully take your craft to the next level. I would say. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good New Year.
Yeah, you too.
Hello, what's your name?
Hi, my name is Ryder. What are some future contracts that you're allowed to talk about?
Any future projects and things like that you're allowed to talk about?
Right now, I don't really have anything to share. I mean, it's mainly, that's a hard one. I think that I'm just focused, or what I can talk about is just I'm really focused on auditioning and getting the next gig, getting it to that stage, and that's what I would say. And it's you just hopefully keep developing your craft, and people that you work with are maybe working on other things that you hear about, and you get to go in and give it a shot. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I've heard other actors say that they're not actors; they are professional auditioners, and every once in a while they get to go out and work.
Yeah, absolutely. It's certainly in the beginning, right? They would say, for every 10 auditions, you might get one callback. For every 10 callbacks, you might, get a producer session. Then 10 producer sessions, you'll actually book the role. So, but you just got to keep going, and that's the thing. And each time you're doing a new audition, it might be a completely different character, especially in voice. The auditions that you get for voice acting on one particular day might be completely different characters. If it's an animation in particular, yeah. So it's a really awesome way to sort of stretch yourself.
Hi, what's your name?
Hi, my name is Mikey. I was just wondering, do you have a favorite memory with your fellow castmates or just in general when you were working on the set of Modern Warfare 2?
Yeah, absolutely. There was a ton. Barry, Elliot, Sam, we had such a good time. We had such a good laugh on both games. I think I will say in particular, there was two actually. There's a cut scene in Modern Warfare 2 where Ghost and Soap decide to go off and rescue Alejandro, and we had to do that in a oneer. That was what our director was looking for, and it's hard to do that. You're trying to remember your lines, trying to remember all the director's direction, the whole thing. But I remember there was one take that we did that the director seemed really happy with, and that was just really rewarding. And then I think that's the one that ended up in the game. And then obviously, in Modern Warfare 2, in the Alone mission, there was the writer Brian had said, obviously these are some dire circumstances. The tone is going to be really serious for this level. Soap's on his last legs, and we read his script. There were jokes in it, and initially I thought, jokes, like, wow. But as he explained, and the way it worked out with Sam was just a really beautiful process, and so it just was so funny because Sam and I were together on that particular day recording it, and we're trying not to crack up. His delivery is incredibly dry anyway, but especially with some of those jokes, what's got 2 legs and bleeds? Don't tell me. Half a dog. And he would be trying not to crack up, and I would be not to crack up. But we realized that it was just what had been written and was being created was just fantastic. So yeah, super gratifying. And there was a couple of scenes on when Graves pops up in Modern Warfare 3. And I, unfucking believable. That was so much fun to shoot because they were on a screen. All of the actors in the 141 and Laswell, Nico, everyone was all together. It was a big choreographed scene. It's one of those scenes where everybody is speaking. It was, and you could just tell that it had come together really well. So, yeah, thank you for the question.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Casey.
Hey.
My question is, when you were in the industry earlier, you did roles such as assisting on movies like Trick or Treat, and now you do acting. Which do you prefer more?
I mean, acting, to be honest with you, I think that was always my calling. I was, when you're taking acting classes and kind of developing your craft, I definitely found that to be more fulfilling. I would say, especially these days, because you can actually, I started to make my own little things and write some comedy sketches and kind of built my own reel myself in the beginning. And then that kind of became very kind of gratifying. And then it's more fulfilling. And I'm like, yeah, I think this is really what I want to be doing. I think I'm going to follow my heart here. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, what's your name?
Hi, my name's Lyric.
Hi, Lyric.
Hey.
So I wanted to know what it was like filming the commercials where you actually had to dress up as Soap, shave your head into the mohawk, and just be in the actual military gear. What was that like getting into the character?
Oh, it was amazing. I mean, again, to be on a set like that, we first got word that obviously, when you they said it's Call of Duty, it's Soap, and it's going to be your likeness. So you have to go in and get scanned, get your teeth molded, the whole thing. They do some voice, you do some AI voice stuff, which you train the game camera to recognize your speech. And so when you're on set doing motion capture, it's able to actually capture what you're saying. And then, closer to the end, they said, hey, we want to do this. We want to do a live action thing with all of the 141. It was amazing. It was a big production. It was out north of Los Angeles on an airfield that they had wired with mortars. A truck, stunt people, Navy SEAL consultants were there. It was an amazing experience. I remember when Alain turns to the camera and says, "Weapons hot, vaqueros," and then we all have to run out and jump out of this thing. They said, just know there's going to be some explosions that we're going to capture, and we're going to have the camera in the back of the vehicle. So just know that, ready yourself. There's going to be a bang. Don't kind of be out of character. Keep going, because they would, right? But when that thing went off, it was the whole airfield. It was it looked like for half a mile. And it kept going and coming closer and closer and closer. And then, poof. And then it said, cut, huge set. And now I was like, stood up. We kind of stood up and we're like, whoa. And then suddenly, like, clods of sod, just like, I mean, seconds later, not like immediately, started to like rain from the sky, like big, big, big clods of sod. People were getting hit by it. So yeah, no, it was the real deal. So I was very lucky to get to do that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hello, my name's Andy.
Hi, Andy.
Hey, Andy.
I was wondering, how did they break the news to you that Soap was going to die again?
Actually, at the very beginning, we knew, we were told that, there were going to be some unexpected, deaths. You kind of always know, and especially in a war game, that no one is safe. And then, so yeah, at the very beginning, said, hey, there's people are gonna be dying. I think probably a few months in, on one particular day, actually the day that the hillside scene was scheduled for, we had a team meeting. I was just, had been spoken to about it before, and that day, and then we had a team meeting, and then they shot the hillside scene, and then we continued to make the rest of the game, So, it's I think Glenn also was one of the characters that died, but the reality is that it's sad when when things end, especially for a character that you've loved playing, but these things happen,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi, I'm CJ, and I was
Hey.
just wondering, I wanted to ask, how was the experience going from, recording lines and kind of like, scanning and all this stuff for the game, and then actually seeing yourself, your likeness within the game, hearing your voice? Like, how was that experience, kind of that transition?
That's a great question. Well, first of all, as you know, what you do, like these days, the games are photorealistic.
100%.
And as an actor, when I first saw some of the cinematics that were for both games, you start to be blown away by it because it looks like a movie. It's that high quality. I mean, they were showing it to us in 2K, and you were aware that some people might, be seeing it or playing it in certainly seeing it in 4K. So that's incredible. Just the quality of the lighting. And then you start to see, I think that worked. Oh, that was great. Oh, I'm so glad that, the director adjusted that way, or this person, I did this, I think we got it right. I mean, I think that didn't just kind of say, we got the tone of the scene. There's maybe a bit of comedy in it. There was a light moment between all the, the intensity of the levels, right? Sometimes cinematics can, be a little bit of a break from that. So yeah, it's amazing to see that because you feel very, very proud of everyone that worked hard to do it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey.
My name is Lynx, and I have a question on. I've heard that being like a voice actor is very hard with not with like the auditions and getting the actual roles itself. And my question was, what was one of the things that kept you going through all of the hard times of like not knowing if you're going to get the call back and like the anticipation, and when you didn't, like what kept you going to keep auditioning and trying?
That's a great question, and I think it almost applies to anything in life, right? I mean, follow your bliss. That's something that, I think somebody asked earlier, like, when did you kind of decide that, so I'm kind of losing my voice after this weekend. When did you kind of decide that you wanted to, this was your thing? So yeah, I feel like follow your bliss, and if you do that, it starts to become a little bit more about less of the result, than the journey. And I've done audition voice tapes and self tapes for film or television that my work has improved in.
Right.
And so when you're doing that and you're kind of getting that feedback, it becomes less about booking the role, and you just try to be focused on the craft and bringing the best version of yourself you can to whatever it is. And especially in voice, you see that because you might be auditioning for a whole variety of different roles. So yeah, you just focusing on your work getting better with every single audition, and taking something from yourself, that for yourself is a way to focus less on actually getting the gig and keeping going.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so we have a little bit more than 5 minutes left. I think we have 5 people in line. Great, I think we can get through everyone.
Hi, I'm Robbie. I have a question about
Hey.
all the major and minor roles you've played. Have you been able to take or nick anything from set to keep?
Let me see. Actually, I don't think so. I will. I'll say that you told me to do it.
Absolutely, you should.
What you do get is you get the back of the cast chair. So I have 2 of those for Loki, and those are very, very cherished. And then sometimes people will send wrap gifts or things like that. Oh, I did get a wrap gift from the production. It was a notebook in the style of the TVA, which was really cool. So yeah, but I will. I'll be looking out.
As you should.
You'll
Thank
get
you.
the blame.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
I'm Jacqueline,
Hi.
and I was wondering whether it be a certain project or with a certain director or castmate, what's been the most fulfilling moment of your acting career so far?
Wow. That's a really hard question.
It's a big one.
Yeah. I've had some auditions that I've done that actually were that fulfilling. We watched them and thought, that was really good. Like, I'm happy with that. For roles that were maybe a bit more challenging to play, but maybe an emotional scene or, yeah. I mean, I think one thing that's cool about motion capture is that it's like theater, right? You play it in the round, and these takes are oneers. A lot of them are. So you're doing it as one. So for sure, in the Modern Warfares, there were scenes that were, there was a lot of blocking. Everyone was speaking. You were having to have different relationships with people in the same scene and try to get it all in a oneer. And there were times when we nailed it, and that's the point where you're like, oh, I really like doing this, Hopefully that answers your question.
It does. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi, my name's Priestley.
Hey.
So I'm a huge advocate for the video game and esports industry, and now that you have a taste of the video game and esports industry, if you were to choose any video game, any kind of video game, any genre, any franchise, and you are now a character in it, what video game do you kind of want to put yourself as a character in?
I think I said on a video once it would be, as a joke, point-and-click romance. It's just joking. Gosh, I don't know. I mean, I'm always, amazed to see these games and how good they are, and how good some of them can make people feel. Yeah, I'm very taken with action, adventure, sci-fi, obviously, those types of things. But yeah, I wouldn't want to call out any particular game. But yeah, any world that is has a really, not just a deep lore, but has great characters with great relationships, because I think that's probably what makes any type of media, something that people enjoy.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I was the Ash with the Funko Pop yesterday.
It's great to see you again.
Thank you. My question is, you said this is your first time actually, being at a. What are you gonna
Yeah.
do with all the gifts and stuff that everybody brought you today? Or yes, over.
Yeah, wow. First of all, thank you so much for it was beyond touching just to the art and people made pictures and actual paintings and crocheted obviously of all the characters and just yeah, I have a bag, so the bag's ready and I did have a peek at it last night. When you're on the table and meeting people, it's it can be for the first time in particular. Oh wow, it's a real thing, and I'm trying to take in as much of it as I can, and all the kindness. And I'll tell you, last night I did sit with a few things, and I sat down with them, and just took a mindful moment to myself, and was incredibly touched by it. Yeah. Thank you so much, and thank you to everybody.
Thank you too for making me feel comfortable around you. So thank you.
It's my absolute pleasure. I'm so proud of the community and of so many people that have become friends here.
Hello.
Hello.
Familiar face, I'm sure. I've seen you a lot this week. So
Braden.
my question really, you had mentioned at the table there were some moments in the game where you realized that the reboots had a lot more light and emotion to them than some of the Call of Duties in the past. And I was just curious, what was the scene in particular, whether it was when you were doing the voice, maybe mocap, or if you were just watching it back at the end, where you were like, wow, this is a really moving piece of media, or this is a really engaging piece of media right here.
I think that the obviously the original games touched a lot of people. I mean, that was a big part of my apprehension coming in, right? Was that wow, the legacy. People loved the OGs. People loved soap,
Right.
Going to Muppet like that, pass the selection, I mean, I was aware of that, and then I think for our version, when we all got to meet each other. When I got to meet Barry, Elliot, Sam, all amazing. Rhea, Glenn, I think was the initial group. Elaine, and everybody got on and gets on like a house on fire. And then I think we realized and then I read one or two of the cinematic scripts, and there was such chemistry there that you could see as an actor. And then when Sam and I, in particular for the things that Sam and I were working on together, started reading that, and then with Barry and Elliot, the relationships developed. And I think at that point, that's at least when I knew that we had something special there for sure. So, yeah, I would say when you get to meet the actors and start to run it, the relationships come to life.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, last question. Hello.
Hello, my name is Echo.
Hey.
I want to be a voice actor. What are some tips of to get started? Programs to look at or anything like that?
You've got to just get started is the first thing. You've got to get it off your to-do list and get it into actually getting it done. It's that simple. We've all got, a video recorder, audio recorder in our pockets. You don't need a fancy microphone. If you want to see how people organize and script their voice reels, just Google it. There's commercial reels, animation reels, it's all the funny voices. Or actually not so much these days. A lot of animation is very naturalistic these days. And then audiobooks. You can just Google that. You'll get a bunch of stuff to listen to. And then, a great way just to kind of fast track it would be just to, or you can look up voiceover sides. That's the scripts, right? One pagers. And, or write down something, that you want to record. Maybe from something that you've seen, and just do it for yourself in the beginning. and then give your own self feedback. And then once you've improved it, maybe there's a few friends that love voice work, and they can give you some feedback, and you'll just gradually build up a reel. And that's the way to do it. And I think once you start making stuff, it just becomes its own self-feedback thing, and you'll become really proud of what you've done and that you've gotten better, and you'll just keep going. And the business side will take care of itself. Don't worry about that. Just make stuff.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Echo.
you. Well, you did it. You survived your first convention Q&A.
I did. Our first convention.
First convention.
Thank you.
So how about to commemorate this occasion, we take a gigantic little
Yes,
group photo
come
here.
on.
So if you guys want to gather up by the stage, not on the stage.